Guys, what is going on? Thank you guys for clicking on the video. Before we get started, like, comment, and subscribe to the video. The support is always appreciated. You get all the new content on this channel going forward. Alright, so let's start off covering the Bengals draft. Let's start with the first round. How about that? Amarius Mims. He's an offensive tackle from Georgia at a towering 6'7" and 340 pounds. He's a giant on the field, and he brings a much-needed protection and stability that this offensive line really needed. But it's not about his size. It's about his, agility, his technique. Even though there's not maybe the greatest amount of tape on him, had that ankle problem, of course. But you know what? His football IQ and everything, it just promises a long-term protection solution for Joe Burrow. And obviously over the last few years, we've had critical missteps in offensive line, picks and production on the field. Even though if you look towards the end, the Bengals offensive line, it really got better, when they started running the ball and all that. But, there's always, what I notice about Bengals fans is there's always some sort of unrest or about, draft picks that we do. We've got a player who fits exactly what we needed. And this is who you guys wanted, like, in terms of, like, the position. And I don't know, some of you guys, I'm not trying to say all of you, I'll say maybe 20% of you guys love to complain about everything. You haven't even seen these guys on the field yet. So let's not undermine it or try to deflate the enthusiasm of some, excited Bengals fans. Yes, there's not maybe the greatest amount of tape and he has an ankle problem, but it fortifies the front line in the coming seasons, and especially with Trent Brown on that one-year contract, I think this brings like a long-term solution. Let's go on to the second round. We got Chris Jenkins. He's an absolute dog from Michigan. Another massive addition. He's at 6'4", 360 pounds. He's there to basically contribute to what DJ Reader, we lost in DJ Reader. Given our defensive line struggles, ranking near the bottom against the run, unfortunately. A lot of Bengals fans talk about, the future and everything, but this guy helps us now. And I understand, the skepticism of, our past picks or anything like that, but, his track record and his fit, I think it really comes for, great sense of enthusiasm. And I think we, again, rally behind these decisions because you got to trust that, the team that's gone to a Super Bowl and AFC Championship and, probably would have gone back to the AFC Championship if, their quarterback didn't go down. You're looking at a mix here of immediate and long-term success. So I really like this pick. Like I said, it fits our system well. And, with DJ Reader gone, Trey Hendrickson, obviously, having some trade issues and everything, and hopefully they, by the way, they're meeting with him this week. So I look forward to seeing how that turns out. But I think this really fills a void. This is mainly about depth. I mean, we got McKinley Jackson, Eric All, a tight end for Iowa. Iowa tight ends have a good track record in the NFL, and I think, with him pairing with Gesicki, good depth picks. I wouldn't say any of these are starter picks or obviously Jermaine Burton with Alabama. I've heard that he's got some character issues, but I think him training with TJ Hushmanzad, I think that can calm him down a little bit, I guess, if you will. So I'm not too worried about that right now, but like I said, it's easy to question these picks, but this is based on your personal favorites and everything, and just the fans and the media, and just maybe you're just a pessimistic person. I've been pessimistic about this organization in the past, but I've kind of come along and accepted, this could be the real deal. And just being patient with them is important. The real measure of the draft, it's going to be seen on the field. But right now, guys, I give the Bengals an A-. Like I said, the strength of the draft class, I think the trenches on both sides of the ball, they get improved. And I think we do a good job of approaching like a mix so we didn't go too heavy on offense and defense. Because I think the Bengals, one thing I'll say about them is I think they recognize their weaknesses, and that's really good. That's super important for this team to be successful. There's not, too much emphasis on one. I think it's just a little combination of both. There's definitely a high risk, high reward concern. A lot of people, they go into they come out of college and they're, perfectly fine in the NFL. But like I said, I think wide receiver with T. Higgins, and then obviously we lost Tyler Boyd. And the linebacker spot's a little bit questionable, but I think it's definitely not horrible or anything. It's not elite, it's not horrible. I think the wide receiver position is, kind of I think it takes a big step with Jermaine Burton, but it's also, we'll see what happens. I still think this team with T. Higgins is going to come back. And even Trey Henderson, I think he's going to come back next year. I think this team will be pretty dangerous. And, my personal takes, guys, I'm excited about the optimism that we have. No draft can solve all the problems at once. And I think the criticisms that they overlook from some Bengals fans, they overlook the overall strategy. And like I said, I think we support these athletes, give them a chance at least. And the good thing about this draft, we come out of this draft a better team, in my opinion. That's the main goal. And I think we keep the same Super Bowl or bust mentality with these moves. So I'm proud of it. And I appreciate you guys tuning in. Bengals, go get a ring this year, man. We need that Super Bowl. It's gonna be huge for the city. But who dey, guys? I appreciate you guys watching, and I will see you guys later.